No pause, hands up when we walk. Ali set the pace, Mystic brings a spark. Steve in the cut, now the whole block start. Cold on the edge till we hit. I don't call that name and we break it down, 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 down. Game time grind. Game time grind. Ali, Mystic, Steve, all in line. Game time grind. Game time grind. Bring the raw back. We on tonight.
Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Game Time Grind here on the 4th and 10U network. We're here today to say happy 4th of July from all of us here at 4th and 10U. Today is more than just about fireworks or backyard barbecues or waving the American flag, right? It's about celebrating the freedoms that bring us together, right? As families, as friends, neighbors, and communities, right? That's something I really want to stamp on, communities, right? College football may be played in the fall, but its spirit lives year round, right? It gives us tradition to pass down from generation to generation, right? My grandfather was a huge Irish fan, right? Loved college football. I used to watch college football with him, right? May he rest in peace. But he also, at the same time, you know, his brothers and his sons and his kids like different teams. And you hand those off to your next person in line when it comes to the generation you're part of. Just like my son will probably grow up to be a Buckeye fan, I hope, right? But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's about the traditions that we have during these holidays. It's more than just waving a flag. It's about family, togetherness, right? Freedom, right? So ultimately, just like the 4th of July, college football reminds us that some of life's greatest moments aren't about the final score. They're about the people we share them with. As we celebrate our nation's independence, let's also celebrate the freedom to cheer for our favorite teams. Gather around the grill, laugh with loved ones, and appreciate the sacrifice that have made those moments possible. From everyone at 4th and 10U, we want to wish you and your family a safe, fun, and unforgettable 4th of July. Enjoy the food, the fireworks, and the time with those who matter the most. And with that being said, we're going to play a 4th and 10U exclusive. This is an exclusive song called 4th of July and the Pigskin Dream. Yep.
We're dreaming of a kickoff. Yeah, we're ready for the fight. Oh, it's the 4th of July and the pigskin dream. Every town across this land is loyal to their team. From the Crimson Tide rolling to the Buckeye.
nation, one passion.
Sweeping through the land.
The grass is getting greener.
The whistle's gonna blow.
Let the countdown start right now.
It's time to let it go.
Oh, it's the 4th of July and the pigskin dream. Every town across this land is loyal to their team.
From the hurricanes in Florida to the Huskers in the plain.
The dogs, the tide, the Trojans, we're back to play again.
Yeah, we're standing for the flag. We're cheering for the game. Raising up our colors. Glory in the name. Glory in the name.
Yeah, we're playing for the glory.
4th of July.
And football.
And with that, everybody, hit the like button. This is Game Time Grind, a whole new episode. I cannot wait. What is up, Mystic and Steve? How you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Doing great. It's wonderful to be here. I can't wait to have some conversations with two of my favorite co-hosts.
Definitely. And in like 4th of July passion, right? Coast to Coast, right? That song kind of got to me because it made me think about it. It's more than just waving a flag around, man. We get to exercise our freedom to do whatever we want on 4th of July, right? Let it be barbecuing, playing football, jumping in the pool, drinking beers, or whatever you want to drink. That's what it's about. And it's about the people you share it with. Like right now, I'm sharing this moment with you guys to talk here on Game Time Grind. What's up, Steve? How you guys doing? Or how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. 4th of July is another reminder, especially in what, we're trying to do here, our ability to mostly speak whatever we truly feel without somebody truly, coming in and editing what we want, what they want to be heard or said. I know it seems, these days there's always something, getting in the way of our free speech, but ultimately that is something that we have that allows us to keep doing what we like to do.
Ultimately, yes, definitely. And, a lot of people like think that 4th of July just has to be 4th of July, patriotic, red, white, and blue, which for me it is because, I'm a veteran, right? I support my troops. I'm 4th generation military. And for me, it is about that. But ultimately, it's about the freedoms that people sacrifice their lives for, right? And that's kind of how I look at it. And the freedom to sit here and as a fan and talk about college football, right? Not being forced to like one specific team or hold one specific flag, right? I have the freedom to sit here and hang out with our audience and our fans. More recently, we've gotten a lot more feedback in the comments. And I was told that I need to learn how to pronunciate certain names. Well, I wish you could see my last name because I can tell you right now, you won't be able to pronunciate it. You can ask Mystic or Steve. They know what my last name is. And you won't be able to say it. It's the hardest name ever. I'm sorry, I'm not great at names. But you better believe I'm going to sit here and hold my freedom to talk about college football because I love the sport. And that's the reality. And this is a fan show for fans by fans. We're not experts. Steve might be the expert, but me and Mystic are not. So you can hold him accountable. I'm just kidding, Steve. I'm just kidding. Everybody hit the like button. Subscribe if you're brand new. On Tuesday, we debuted new music video. What do you guys think about the music video? Do you guys like it? What do you guys think of that? The new intro?
That was pretty cool, man. I enjoyed it for sure.
I know we got the feedback that our intro is way too long. So that was just over a minute, just over. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, man, I I don't know. This time of year, it's exciting because we're at the eve of football in America, right? We got training camp starting in what 3 4 weeks. We're at 3 weeks for some, 4 weeks for others, right? College football starts what mid to end of August, right? So I'm excited, man. I don't know. This time of the year is the best time of the year for me. But yeah, everybody at home, hit the like button. We are 11 subscribers away from 100. Once we get to 100 subscribers, we'll have giveaways, some really cool stuff, and a lot more giveaways. So appreciate if everybody can share our channel with everyone. If you're on the TFTG side, which if you're watching this, you probably aren't because this is an exclusive to 4th and 10U. But if you do normally watch on the TFTG side, tell everybody there, come to at 4th and 10U. We're trying to grow this channel so we can expand the community and everything. So we would really, really appreciate it. So Mystic Steve, man, what's on your mind? You got a topic you want to talk about now, or should we just get into the thick of things? What do you guys want to talk about?
I think we get into the woods, man.
Get into the woods? Is that what you said?
Yep.
All right, I guess we can get into the woods.
Into the thick of it. Into the thick of it. Oh wait.
Listen, 4th of July, since we're on this subject of 4th of July, this is our 4th of July special. I know it's probably being aired a day early or 2 days early. That's fine because 4th of July is like a couple days worth of celebrating to me. Because, like, for example, 4th of July this year is on Saturday, right? My company is celebrating it on the 3rd. That's our, the holiday that they are adhering to. But if you live anywhere here, like in Florida, they shoot fireworks off the whole entire week. It doesn't have to be 4th of July. Starting tomorrow, you're going to hear fireworks all throughout the weekend and the day after too. So for me, it starts this whole week. But just like any 4th of July celebration, there's food involved. Just like a tailgate, when you go to the college football game, you smell hot dogs, burgers, and whatnot. And I kind of wanted to to see what you guys think. What is your go-to 4th of July / tailgating food that you must have? Like, let's start with you, Mystic. What is something that you have to have at a tailgate that you would probably have at 4th of July?
Man. I mean, I can name all sorts of things. There's at least like 3 things, right? But we'll just go with you at least got to have a good potato salad, man. I'm just saying.
Yeah, potato salad. I like that. That wasn't something I thought you would go with first. But I like potato salad. I got one along that lines too. What do you got, Steve? You're muted, Steve.
No. Yes. No.
Now, sorry, I thought I was unmuted. Now, there's a question that comes with that, Mystic. Is it with or without the raisins? Now, be careful.
Is it what?
Oh man, you opened that can of worms up, Steve. Holy crap. He is Mystic. If you didn't understand, and you're from the Midwest, so you may not understand this. But I guess there is a community that believes you should put raisins in potato salad. Are you with that or without that?
We're gonna have to like delete this segment for Steve ever asking that question, because as one of our good friends would say, that's some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, who's ever putting raisins in their potato salad? Get the fuck out of here.
Oh man. My potato salad is considered Southern style. I like mustard and some paprika
Oh, yep, that's fine.
too, and put some relish in there also. That's my style of potato salad. You don't put raisins in my potato salad. No offense. I know some people like it, and no offense to y'all, but I'm just not that person. I'm not one of them. What do you think? How do you put raisins in yours, Steve?
Respectfully to no, disrespectfully, if you put raisins in your potato salad, I don't know if I could be friends. I'm sorry. That's why I had to ask.
Damn. No, I don't put raisins in my potato salad. No, thank you. I like raisins by themselves, but not in potato salad. All right. So mine is a little bit different. Mine is I love Irish pub nachos. Have you guys ever had Irish pub nachos?
No.
I'll take that as no. Okay. So Irish pub nachos, you take some russet potatoes and you slice them up very thinly, almost kind of like in the shape of chips of some kind. And you spread them on a baked sheet tray and you cover it with some olive oil, salt, pepper, garlic powder, and paprika, right? Put that all over these slices of potatoes. And you put it in the oven for a few minutes. I want to say it's like 10 minutes or something like that. And when you pull them out, you can put them in a cast iron type of pot, or you can keep them on the baking sheet, whichever you prefer. I do it kind of more traditionally, and I take my cast iron pan, my big one, and I put a layer of these sliced potatoes. Then I put some taco meat of your choice. Let it be steak, ground beef, maybe use chicken. I'm not a shrimp taco fan, so no offense to those people that want to put shrimp in. But if that's what you want, it's not mine. Um, and I'll put that on top. Then I'll put cheese, more potatoes, cheese, maybe jalapenos, bacon, and you put it in the oven for a little bit more, let it bake a little bit more, and then you can put on some scallions on top and some sour cream, and you basically eat it just like you would nachos, but instead of made with nachos like a tortilla chip, it's basically a potato. It's really, really good. It's called Irish Pub Nachos. Check them out.
That sounds fire.
It is fire, bro. It is so good. I've made it a few times just for dinner. Like, I'm just eating this. I don't need anything else.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'm down with
Yes,
that.
definitely. What about the grill? You can't have a tailgate and you can't have 4th of July without the grill. So what would you put on the grill?
I mean, go ahead, Steve. What you got?
He's going to put raisins or grapes on his grill.
Oh,
No, there ain't no such thing as a 4th of July or a tailgate around me that doesn't have smoked ribs.
Smoked ribs. Okay, that's a good one.
Yep,
Okay.
yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I
he was-
know. See,
I thought he was going to say he grills watermelon, but okay. You know. Yeah.
poor Steve. Oh man, no. I'm all about my burgers and hot dogs and brats, man. Those are things that are always on there for me. Easy
Definitely.
to make. Everyone loves them. Makes my life easy.
Yeah, bratwurst. Bratwurst is for some it's an acquired taste, but I'm part German. In Columbus, we have an area called Germantown. It's very beautiful, by the way. If you ever get to go to Germantown in Columbus, very, very beautiful. They have a place called Schlotzsky's there that's really good. They have really good bratwurst and different stuff like that. Definitely recommend to go there. But you can also put like,
Come on.
go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny you say bratwurst, right? And I don't know if this is just the difference between because I'm German Italian, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's not the first sausage I think of. For me, it's that sweet Italian sausage with peppers and onions, that Italian American in me,
That
right?
was definitely on my list. Yes, definitely. I agree with you. Sausage and peppers and onions, definitely great. Um, Something that you guys didn't really mention, because yeah, you can do hot hamburgers, hot dogs, and brats. That's kind of the cliche thing to do, right? I like to throw some pork butt on the grill, and make sure it's tenderized so I can make pulled pork out of it and make pulled pork sandwiches. What do you guys think of that? I think that's fire, to be honest. That's something different that you wouldn't necessarily do. Any thoughts on pulled pork sandwich?
Pulled pork pretty darn good too.
And no, I don't put pineapple on my pulled pork sandwich, just so you know. Some people do that. I do not.
Nah, pineapple goes with like ham and stuff, but like no, that's about it.
Yeah, I don't put pineapple on it. I like pulled pork sandwich. Maybe you put some pickle on it and smother that with some really good mild barbecue sauce. Some people like the sweet barbecue. You can do that, but I like even a hot barbecue sauce. I like a little bit hotter. Not necessarily mild, not the hottest, but somewhere in between. That's what I like to have. And as a side, give me some baked beans, maybe a potato salad. That would be really good. Coleslaw. You gotta have coleslaw, to be honest, with pulled pork sandwich, to be honest.
Yeah, I
So
was about to say smoked ribs, coleslaw, and mac and cheese.
yep, there you
That's a
go.
4th
There
of
you
July
go.
meal for me.
So I'm gonna ask you a cliche question about one of the cliche things you could put on the grill, like burgers or hot dogs. What is the best cheese to put on a real American burger?
No, we're not saying American cheese. I'm sorry, people. We're not going to go cliche on you.
Well, if you're gonna say white American, I'm gonna kick you out of the panel.
No, I like cheddar.
Uh,
cheddar.
Cheddar cheese. Cheddar's not bad. What do you think, Steve?
Oh, it's pepper jack. Anything
Pepper
less than
jack is
pepper
good.
jack.
I'm down with pepper jack too, so I love me some spice.
I like pepper jack also, but for me, outside of cheddar cheese, right? The best cheese, honestly, and I think this is if you go back and maybe
White
read,
cheddar.
not white cheddar. No. The best cheese, to be honest, and I think this is more traditional sense, is Munster cheese. Munster cheese, to be honest, in my opinion, is the best on a burger. How it spreads, the flavor it provides, overall, and the texture that it has, I think it's the best cheese. Yes, I am kind of a cheese snob, but I like Munster cheese. I love pepper jack too, or Colby Jack. Colby Jack's another cheese you can use as well.
Colby Jack is so good.
Yeah, it is really good, but I don't like
Your German
white.
is showing.
What? Go ahead with German. Go ahead.
I said your German is showing with the Munster.
Yeah, Munster cheese. Yes, I love Munster. I don't. To be honest, I wasn't the biggest Swiss fan until I met my wife. There's some things you can put. You can use Swiss with. A burger's not one of them, even though she likes Swiss and mushroom.
Man,
burger, but I'm not
a
not a
good aged Swiss is awesome.
I like baby Swiss, to be honest.
That's a good one too.
But I like putting Swiss on a fried chicken sandwich. Take a fried chicken sandwich, put baby Swiss on there, top it with like lettuce, maybe a pickle, and some ranch dressing.
Amazing.
That is an amazing sandwich, to be honest. Just my thoughts. Oh, now I'm hungry, man. I want 4th of July to be here now so I can start eating. God damn. All right, last question when it comes to 4th of July tailgating food. What is a certain ice cream, not ice cream, dessert? We'll just say dessert that you must have.
Oh, the rocket pops, for the kids, right?
Oh, you took it right out of my. I should have said ice cream. That's what I was gonna go with. The red, white, and blue rocket pop. That thing is awesome, bro. I loved that thing as a kid. But I'll do one a little bit different than that because that was my first one. Do you guys remember the little ice packets? They were like, it was like liquid sugar, obviously different colors. You throw them in the freezer and you can eat them like an icicle. I loved those growing up as a kid. I loved the hell out of that stuff. What do you think, Steve? Is there something that we haven't mentioned that you would make as your go-to desserts?
Now, see, here's the thing: is everybody here immediately went to rocket pops in their mind, right?
Yeah.
Mine's, because that's just our thing, right? That's the American 4th of July ice cream. Even though, do you know what the most famous ice cream during the 17 to 1800s was?
What was it?
Clam. You can look it up. Clam flavored
ice cream?
ice cream. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
an
let that
interesting. I don't even know what that tastes like, or want to know what that tastes like. To be honest,
Crazy.
Damn.
Thomas Jefferson spent time in France, if anybody knows their history, and he brought back the vanilla bean, and that was the beginning of vanilla ice cream in the U.S. But just a little fun fact. But for me, it's funnel cake, man. Like if I can't choose rocket pop, it's funnel cake with the powdered sugar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, funnel cake is really good, and you don't just have to put powdered sugar on there. You can put whatever you want. Let it be whipped cream, Some people even throw powdered sugar and then put chocolate chips on top if you want. I've seen people do that kind of stuff. The best way, though, in my opinion, is the traditional way. Powdered sugar is more than enough. You don't need anything else, to be honest, for funnel cake. But I do have two other options that I think are really good. If you're talking about like funnel cake style foods, fried Oreos. Fried Oreos are banging, bro. I found a new way to make fried Oreos in my air fryer. Comes out better than they do at the carnival or wherever you get that, that type of foods whenever they're serving it. I don't know. What do you guys think about fried Oreos? Oh, I must have lost you guys. You guys are both silent. Damn.
I was waiting to see if Mystic was gonna say something. I mean, they're fried Oreos, man. Like
Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
you choose something sweet and you deep fry it, it's automatically American for some reason. I don't
Just fried. It's American. Here's my other favorite one. And my wife is very well known to making a version of this. So you don't necessarily have to make this specifically, but she usually makes something along this lines. A red, white, and blue strawberry shortcake, right? Using blueberries, the strawberries, the whipped cream, and everything. You can't go wrong with the shortcake. There's nothing more American than that, to be honest. Yeah. So now I'm hungry. Thanks to all this talk about food. I'm starving. I'm probably gonna go eat as soon as this show is over. Mystic, man, you've been kind of quiet. You didn't like the funnel cake talk?
No, there's a lot of. I'm being honest. I've got a lot of people at my house right now, and I keep trying to move rooms. I've got kids trying to sit next to me while I'm trying to talk, and they're quite pissing me off.
Oh, like, Dad, we want to get on the Oreo talk. They want fried Oreos. That's what they're probably.
It's like, go away. Yeah, no, I'm all about funnel cake, dude. I love funnel cake. We have like an amusement park here, and anytime
Yeah.
I go to that amusement park or anytime I go to the Iowa State Fair, I always get me a funnel cake because that stuff is amazing.
Let me ask you guys a question. Have you ever had elephant ears?
Yes, they are good too.
Oh my God, elephant ears. Funnel cake and elephant ears. That's where it's at when it comes to like a fair or a festival or a carnival of some kind. That's where it's at. Definitely. All right, everybody hit the like button. We're talking, tailgating and 4th of July food because, to be honest, if you think about it, 4th of July is the kickoff to tailgating in America, right? We party the same, we drink the same beers, we eat the same foods. It's basically a kickoff to that season. Speaking of beers, what is your go-to 4th of July beer? If you don't drink beer, alcohol is fine too. Just don't put raisins in it, please.
I don't really drink a lot. What's funny is anytime they put out like any special like 4th of July packages of whatever, like sometimes we'll get those just for the heck of it. And they actually made like what is it, like the rocket pop, the bomb pop or whatever. They made one of those in was it Twisted Tea here a while ago?
I remember.
That was pretty
Yeah.
decent. But I mean, majority of the tailgates I go to, people are drinking like, the nasty water beers, Busch Light, Bud Light, all that stuff. I'm like, ooh, I need me like some Jack and Coke type of stuff. Whatever, have a nice one on the rocks type of thing. That's where it's at for me.
Yeah. What do you think, Steve? What is your go-to beer to drink on 4th of July or liquor? Because I know you like some liquor there, but what is it you prefer?
Like, if I'm gonna drink a beer, I'm just the basic, everybody gonna make fun of I'm just gonna grab me a Budweiser, man. Like,
Budweiser?
I'm just
See, that's what I used to drink when I drank beer. I used to drink a lot of Budweiser.
I can't drink Budweiser because Budweiser is no longer American. It's now European beer. All right. So I can't do that anymore. Listen, I'm going to go old school. The oldest brewery in America. This is 4th of July. We just had 250 years birthday recently here in the United States. For me, I'm going the oldest brewery in the United States, and that's a Yingling. All right. It was founded in America Buy America for America. I'm going to Yingling. You can't go wrong. There's different versions of Yingling. The traditional Yingling is what I like the most. I think it has great taste. It's cheap too. But another beer that I think about that really represents blue collar America is a good old fashioned PBR. PBR is a good one to go to as
I
well.
knew someone was gonna say that, or what, Pabst Blue Ribbon or whatever. Oh,
Yes, yeah. PBR is really good, bro. I like that, to be honest. That stuff for me, those types of beers is kind of where I'm at when it comes to drinking beer. A lot of people like
definitely.
these IPAs and stuff. I can't drink that shit, to be honest. Like,
Dude, oh man, a buddy of mine. So every once in a while they'll have a craft beer festival here, and
I
this
got,
dude, he
I got
will get some of the darkest like IPAs, and I'm like, dude, that's all you, man. Like I can't even. Nah, it's people are crazy with that stuff, dude. I know what you're saying.
bro, if you have to have a beer that's called a flat tire and it tastes like a flat tire, you don't need to drink it, to be honest.
That's hilarious to me that even exists. I know.
Yeah, I just that's just my opinion, bro. We went to the House of Brews. We in Port St. Lucie, you have this place called the House of Brews, right? You may have seen them elsewhere as well. But my buddy wanted to go there for his birthday. We get there and he wanted to order a beer. And they have 72 different beers on tap. And then they have beers that are not on tap that you can order as well. So he was like, can I see a menu of your beers? And the lady comes out with this. It looked like a scrapbook that was like yay wide, like that thick, and just slams it on the table. So he just starts flipping through pages and just picks a beer. And she comes back with it, hands it to him, and he takes one sip. And I kid you not, this man can drink more beer and like IPAs, all that craft stuff, like it's nothing, right? His face turned green, straight up green after this. And I was like, yeah, that's what you get for not knowing about the beer that you just ordered and just drink any IPA you can think of. So, oh man.
Hey, dude,
What did you say? Say that again.
that's gnarly.
Yeah, it was gnarly, dude. I took one sip and I spit it out, bro. I was like, nope, no, can't do it. An interesting beer that they had that I did try, and it actually was really good and gnarly in the good way sense. Bread pudding beer. Bread pudding beer is actually really fucking good, to be honest. So at House of Brews, at least one in Port St. Lucie, ask for that. That's one of the most popular beer that they have. It's really good. So
The only thing I don't like, about places is every single one of them they have a pilsner and says just like Budweiser. It's not just like Budweiser. If it was just like Budweiser, just sell Budweiser. Like I don't need, you know, I don't even know, like National X or whatever you want to call it, tastes like Budweiser. It does not taste like Budweiser. It tastes like you tried to make a Pilsner and you wanted people to buy it because nobody would buy it based on what you tried to make.
That's true. That's
I
true.
love it. That's funny.
Look, I like craft beers. In fact, there's sometimes I'll go to like Total Wine and Spirits. I don't know if you have one in your area, Mystic, but Total Wine and Spirits for us is like a Walmart of liquor, right? They have like it's as big as a Walmart and they have everything. And I can just go in there and make myself a 6-pack. And they have this like 1 or 2 aisles of nothing but craft beers that you've never heard of all different flavors and everything. So every time I'm in there, I pick something new to try. That's what I might do this year for 4th of July. I might go there and just pick some different beers I've never heard of. So really good stuff. All right, let's keep it pushing. Everybody hit the like button. Let's get a little bit more patriotic into this, okay? Let's talk about.
It's gotta be fancy for one of our, not one, just a couple of our listeners, even the gated community ones. You know, right? A nice glass of wine, at a tailgate is nice also as well. So I just want to throw that out there too.
All right, I gotta get a little bit fancy. Mystic, are you more of a Marlot or Sauvignon or a Moscato type of wine guy?
What did I just Chardonnay, if you will.
Chardonnay. Okay, so Steve, don't worry, you're not the only one, but with the raisin group. Now Mystic is. He probably puts grapes and olives in his wine.
I
So
hate olives. No, I hate olives.
no, olives go best with like a martini or something like that. So
That's
yeah,
what I was going to say.
yeah, yeah. Not my flavor or cup of tea. I'm not like the biggest martini kind of guy. So, all right. So let's get into like college football, right? You're probably wondering, like, 4th of July college football, does it really mix? Yeah, it does, right? Some of America's colleges, right, were based on the historical founders of our country today, to be honest. Um, so with that, let's talk about head coaches, right? You have like Nick Saban, the Urban Meyers, the Dabo Sweeneys, or even Bill Belichick in college football today, right? Who are the most patriotic head coaches in college football or even college football history? They don't even have to be a current coach. Any thoughts about that, Mystic? Anyone?
Hmm. So you want to know? You know what's funny is we talked about this a little bit backstage, and I did a quick little did some research, if you will, right? So
Okay.
I kind of looked into some things, and it's just crazy. So I think there's definitely a couple guys up there. They brought up kind of a bunch of older guys too. I mean, we got to give props to like Lee Corsos and things like that. But crazy enough, current head coach, which I could be wrong, I might be off. One of those might be also listed in here, so we'll see. But Marcus Freeman is actually a son of an Army veteran.
Very interesting. That's a really good one. And Marcus Freeman is a leader of men, to be honest.
Yep.
So definitely, I like that. And you're talking about a guy that is a head coach of one of the most traditional, historically great, most winningest franchises in college football today. Um, but before we get into deeper dive into that, going back to Lee Corso, in my opinion, Lee Corso is America's college football commentator, to be honest. That is America's commentator, to be honest. I know a lot of people think that current generation that it's Pat McAfee and people of that stature. And you might be right. But when you go look at it, nobody did it better than Lee Corso,
Lee
right?
Corso made it possible for the Pat McAfees to be there.
Yes, he did. Lee Corso also made it like America's pastime to during college football season to see whose mascot mask he was going to put on. Right? No, everybody tuned in just for that. And in fact, the last time that he did that which was at an Ohio State game, right? And he picked Ohio State to win. The last time he did it for his final time, everybody tuned into that game just to watch that moment, right? Nobody else has that kind of moment. Not even Pat McAfee, as big as he is. Um,
I got another one.
Go
I got
ahead.
one more that I want to shout out here.
Sure.
General Robert Neyland, old school coach, right? Head coach of Tennessee back in the day. Served in World War One and World War Two, and then won 4 national championships with Tennessee.
Damn, that's a really good one, to be honest. Yeah, definitely. Steve, do you have a name to throw in the hat? I have a couple. I'm gonna let you go first, though, Steve.
So again, I thought about when you asked this question to us, I thought about it like I have no idea who would be considered like the most patriotic. I don't know how long these guys stand and hold their hand over their hearts or, you know, any of that stuff. Like I don't know these people personally. But when you think of American sports, right? Just in general, who do you think of as a head coach in the history of all football but Bill Belichick? I mean, he lives the definition of America, right? A girlfriend under the age of 30, going through a midlife crisis, all that good stuff. But outside of just being funny, his dad was in World War II. He was a soldier in World War II and taught naval strategy at I think it was at Navy College and I believe I forget what the other school was. Yeah, at the U.S. Naval Academy. He actually taught naval combat and tactics. So he comes from probably the lineage of maybe somebody that uh, created some tacticians that we now use in our U.S. military. I don't know, but it just, again, I don't know who the most patriotic head coach is. I'm not going to pretend to know who that is. But when I think of American coaching, Bill Belichick obviously is the first name that pops into my head.
I agree. I agree with that. That's a good one. There's some others though I want to bring light to, and I have a top 5, but I'm going to give you 2 of the names because I think they both have valid arguments. One guy I'll tell you, and he's not even my main guy, but I'm going to go with him because I do believe he's deserving. Jim Tressel. Although he's no longer coaching, Tressel has always been associated with patriotism. He has appreciation for the military, public service, not just as a teacher or as a head coach or as a president of a state university, and so on. He actually held office in the state of Ohio, right? And if you know anything about Jim Tressel, he is the foundation of what it means to be a leader of men, right? He did the impossible on day one, as we've seen more recently with like Kurt Signetti. In fact, I'll go ahead and say this, Mystic. At the time when Jim Tressel became head coach, he did something similar to Kurt Signetti, right? He called his shot. He called out, we're going to go and beat Michigan. And not only did he beat Michigan once, but he actually beat them, I want to say 2 or 3 times after, right? He called his shot. And I really like that because if you know about his coaching style, if you know about him as a person, Jim Tressel is the foundation of America and what it means to be a leader, right? People wanted, in fact, people in Ohio think of him so highly that they want him to run for governor, to give you an example. I don't think he's going to do that or did that, but that's how they hold him, right? So he's one guy. But the main guy for me, he's the head coach of a team that it is America, but it's America's leaders and future leaders, right? That's Jeff Monken. He's the Army West Point head coach, America's most patriotic head coach, to be honest, if you really want to argue it. He coaches at the University Military Academy, whose mission is to develop future Army officers. Every player he coaches is prepping for military service after graduation, unless they're granted a rare exception. Every once in a while, you'll get someone that gets an exception to go to the NFL, right? Frequently speaks about duty, honor, sacrifice, servant leadership rather than just football. Represents one of the nation's most oldest military traditions during the annual Army-Navy game, which if you don't know, I'll argue that is one of the most hyped up atmospheres that you'll ever be in. I don't know if you guys have watched the Army-Navy game more recently. That atmosphere feels like it's electric when you're there at that game, if you ever get to go to that game, right? His teams regularly participate in military ceremonies, patriotic events, tributes to veterans. And one thing that he's often said, coaching at West Point is not about developing football players, but it's about developing leaders for our nation. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody that puts up leadership and honor, respect, and sacrifice over even the game. That's someone that's most patriotic to me. That's why I think Jeff Monken is the most deserving. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'd say based off, current, what's going on right now for sure. All time, I think it's hard to argue greats, right? I mean, you could argue greats all day long.
Mm-hmm.
You want to argue, since we talked about the Army guy, we could talk about the all-time Air Force longtime head coach of Fisher DeBerry, coached the Air Force Academy for 23 seasons.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's definitely a
Lifted
really
the
one.
Chiefs trophy 14 times and dedicated his entire career to uplifting the spirit, traditions, and defense mission of the U.S. Armed Forces.
Mm.
So, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's all-time greats. But yeah, I mean, I love everything about what you said about that head coach and what he represents. Again, it's hard to really say there's one guy, right? 'Cause there's just so many great guys that have done so many great things to honor the service and represent what this country is, right?
Yeah, definitely 100%. I agree with you. And there's some other names that are definitely deserving. I mean, here's somebody that you may not have thought of. Bobby Bowden, who was the Florida State head coach. He was one of the most winningest head coaches during his time. Every year it was, Bobby's going to lead us to the national championship. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of coaches out there that I think that are deserving. I can't say one is more patriotic than the other, but I can also say that putting servant leadership or sacrificing everything, regardless if it's for the game but for the greater good, to me, that's kind of why I really like Jeff Monken, to be honest. But I liked some of these names. Very interesting. Very interesting. Steve, do you have any final thoughts about the most patriotic head coaches, or who the most patriotic head coach is?
Yeah, again, I just reiterate what I kind of said. I have no idea how to tell who's the most patriotic. I mean, you could go to the Navy head coach, the Army head coach, like Air Force head coach. I mean, they obviously are head coaches of the U.S. military, but it's patriotism, especially these days, is just such a topic that it varies on who you talk to and what it means to be patriotic. I don't even know how you would classify it. That's why it's not even. I don't want people to think I think patriotism is a joke, because it's not. It's just I don't know how to classify it. So
I completely understand. That's completely understandable. Um, Let me bring another name we didn't bring up. When it comes to, let's not just say like patriotic, most patriotic, right? Because that is debatable. What is patriotism, right? You could, it depends on how you define it. What about who's America's head coach would be when it comes to college football? You mentioned Bill Belichick, right? Everybody knows who Bill Belichick is. He's known globally, not just nationally. But there's a legendary coach that we call GOAT around here when it comes to college football. What about Nick Saban? Is Nick Saban really America's college head coach? Or is it Bill Belichick?
I would say if we're going in of all time, like again, it's such a hard thing, right? Because like the Cowboys are called America's football team, but like why, other than just their national attraction and known worldwide, right? So
Mhm.
if we're going based on that, it's Saban or Belichick without question. Saban on Belichick only because of his NFL career being the second most winning coach in NFL history, coming down into college and trying to build a program that resembles that of his his football team in New York, very militant. But if you talk about college, like you ask the common person, they may even know the name Saban. They don't know who that is or where that came from, but you say Nick Saban, they've probably heard that name before.
That's true. What do you think? What do you think, Mystic? what do you think about Nick Saban versus Bill Belichick?
I mean, I feel like really it could go either way, right? I mean, I understand it. I'm just stuck in like the. I feel like I could even put people up there with them, right? But like, I understand the conversation and the topic and what's at hand, and it's hard for me to say it's Saban over Belichick or it's Belichick over Saban because it's like they're both the model of consistency in their respected game and what they or what they were playing, right? One in college, one in the pros. So they were both the standard. Like they were looked at as if you wanted to win, you had to do things like this. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really hard for me to be like, yeah, I like one more than the other because like both of them again, model of consistency. That's what you want to be, day in and day out on the field, off the field. Like I talked about, that's being the model, not just for football, but to be what is represent for the nation, right?
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
So do
Definitely.
we just give it to Parcells then?
Ooh.
That's what I'm saying. Like when you start to really talk about and really broaden but I was like, okay, let's just keep it at that, right? Because it's like I just want to keep it at Belichick and Saban. But yeah, I mean, you could. There's so many other names that we could throw in there, man. Just like we saw with Parcells and stuff. They're just like, oh. So yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of names you could throw in there. I mean, you even got names like Dabo Sweeney, Mike Gundy, Bobby Bowden. There's tons of names you could throw in the hat.
Well,
So I guess
I
there's
brought
really
up.
not one. Go ahead.
I was going to say I brought up Parcells for a reason because Belichick and Saban are both of his tree. They both grew under him and learned how to head coach from them.
That's true, but they learned something that they never got from him though. How to cheat and get away with it.
Oh,
Just gonna point that out. I know it sounds really bad, and you're probably like, "Well, what are you talking about? What cheating scandal? That Nick Saban's been a part of." Well, he didn't necessarily have a cheat. Well, he did have some accusations. For years, rival fans have speculated about Nick Saban using illicit recruiting tactics, which in college football is very common now. So it is a form of cheating. But Bill Belichick, man, you've had how many scandals over the years? You had the Deflate Gate, for example, right? It doesn't matter that he may not be the one responsible for Deflate Gate, but he was the head coach of that team, so obviously he's involved in it. So there's that. And then you look at both of them. Both of them have made controversial comments about the game of football. I want to say when it comes to college football, if you're a current student, I know you said that how many people really know who Nick Saban is. If you're a college football fan, everybody knows who Nick Saban is. He's mentioned at every single game, every single pregame, postgame show. It doesn't matter if it's on Fox, the Big Ten Network, ACC, the ESPN, ABC, CBS, NBC. They bring up Nick Saban at some point, right? So everybody knows who he is if you're a college football fan. If you're talking to the basic college person that's not a college football fan, yeah, they probably have no clue because they're blinded to it. But when it comes to college football fans, the most recognized head coach is Nick Saban at this point in the current era. That's just my opinion. But let's take it a step further. Forget about the coaches because that's so debatable. Who's the most patriotic head coach? Who's the most patriotic school? Who's the most patriotic college football team? That's something we can debate, right? There's a little bit more facts behind it. I'll go ahead and throw one out there. I will say that Notre Dame is one of the most
Totally stole my thunder.
sorry. Notre Dame is in some cases they have okay. I'm not going to take all your thunder. Maybe you can add to this. I want to go ahead and say that Notre Dame it can be considered America's team. They have the right to have their name in the hat, and I'll tell you why. They're an independent program that fans across every state you can find a Notre Dame fan, right? Even here in Florida, we have Notre Dame fans. They have the national TV presence dating back decades, historical NBC television contract that helped build them coast to coast audience, one of the sport's most recognizable brands, alumni and fan base that extends beyond graduates. Historically, if you look at the program, they won 11 national championships, 7 Heisman Trophy winners, numerous Hall of Famers, right? One of the most winningest programs in history. And we just, I think, who was it that brought up Marcus Freeman as being one of the most patriotic? I think somebody here mentioned that, right? Yeah. You add that into it, Irish have a good argument of why they're America's team. But there are other factors you got to put into this. Are they really America's team? Because I'll argue that Alabama, on the other hand, is one of the most watched, if not the most watched team, right? When it comes to ratings and certain metrics that they use. What do you guys think? Who is America's team? And not only do I want to hear from my panel, everybody in that's watching the show, either in the chat during the show or the comments, put who is America's college football team, not pro team. We know that's the Cowboys, but who is America's college football team? What do you guys think?
Yeah, my take, as much as I'm not really a fan of the team, I do think it's Notre Dame, and just solely based off the national following. I mean, we talk about what Steve talked about when it came to the Cowboys and things like that. I think that's the same suit with Notre Dame. Not that they're a bad team, right? But it's like every year they're hyped up that there's some great team or they're going to win it or they're going to do this. And I feel like every year you hear about them complaining about something, right? But no matter what, it's always go Notre Dame. Like it's hard to argue with that. But I do think there's some other. I think there's some other teams you could argue, but I don't want to steal Steve's thunder, so I'll let Steve go here just in case maybe I'm stealing a take.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, again, it goes back to the question, what does it mean to be America's team, right? The Cowboys are called America's team because they were handed it to them, right? They are the most nationally seen team outside of the US. Like when you talk to people outside the US, New England Patriots, Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, right? Like those are very common names to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I mean, like you could make an argument for West Point. You could make an argument for, again, like we said, the most patriotic coaches, right? The Army, Navy, Air Force. I could make an argument about Virginia. The University of Virginia was founded by not just, some guy, but a founding father, the guy who literally wrote the Declaration of Independence, the guy who literally was our third president and founded Virginia to create the nation's future, Thomas Jefferson. Could they be considered America's team because they literally were invented by the man who helped create what we call America? But ultimately, I think it comes down to the reason why the Cowboys are America's team in the NFL. I think it comes down to Alabama or Georgia, the teams that are the most recognizable names across common people, non-fans, casuals. Like they're the most televised teams in college sports for a reason. I think ultimately would fall down to one of them.
Mm. What do you think, Mystic? You said you were going to wait for Steve. What's your take?
I knew he was going to say something about Virginia backstage, and I just thought that was wild that we were able to find a college that was founded by the founding fathers type of thing. I thought that was awesome.
Definitely. Look, for me, there's a lot of teams. I'll say Irish, maybe one of the most deserving, but there are other teams too that I think that are really deserving to be America's team. And if it depends, I think how you look at who the team is debatable. All right. Steve mentioned, all the military academies. That's great. I appreciate what they do. And the reason that we are allowed to be fans of different teams is because of the things that they do. Right. But sometimes it's not about the veterans or the military service or whose dad was in World War I or something to that effect, or who signed the Declaration of Independence. It's about who the hardworking people are that make this country run, essentially, right? You look at teams like Texas Longhorns, right? The Longhorns have probably one of the longest histories when it comes to a college football program that started back in 1893. The Texas Longhorns football is one of the most highly regarded and historic programs of all time. From 1936 to 1946, the team was led by Hall of Fame coach Dana Bible. And then from 1957 to 76, they were led by head coach Darrell K. Royal. But why the Longhorns, you might ask? Why the Longhorns? Why can they be considered America's team? Texas itself is probably one of the most popular states, not just nationally, globally, when it comes to United States, right? I was talking behind stage with Steve, and we were discussing, states that people outside of the United States tend to travel to. Persians, a lot of Persians that I know, outside of going to California, the other state they want to visit most is Texas. Texas has a long conservative patriotic history that goes hundreds of years ago, right? And for me, you look at the whole model that everything's bigger in Texas, right? Why is that? Why do you think they say that? Do you think it's because they have the biggest school, the biggest city, maybe because they're the biggest state? No, because one of the biggest things that they have that helps this country flourish is their cattle business, right? And you look at the cattle business and you look at the people that run that, the people that run those ranches, you want to call them cowboys, whatever you want to call them, cattle wrangler, or whatever you want to call them, whatever their title is, right? They put in hours upon hours from morning to night work to make sure that the cattle is grown and then food is provided all across America, right? It represents the hard work, blue collar. And there are other teams that represents this also. So I don't want to say this is exclusive to Texas, but when you add that and you look at their overall audience, they have a very vast, large audience, right? And in fan base, you look at their recruiting, how big their recruiting network is. You look at they're one of the most largely financial profitable teams in college. When it comes to finances, they never have a problem because they're always able to, make money to support their cause. But they're also one of the most winningest as well. They win a lot over the years historically. You look at the last, I want to say not last year, but you look at the last couple college football playoffs. Texas has always been in the conversation. Even last year, Texas, I would argue, Texas got screwed out of the college football playoff. They were well deserving over some of the other teams, James Madison, or some of these other teams that was in it, to be honest. Um, it's really interesting. I'm surprised people in the chat haven't said already, or maybe they have. You're not going to say Ohio State? Ohio State's considered a heart of America. Best damn team in the land. Best band in the land. Yeah, we may have the best band in the land, but are we America's team? I don't know. I think America's team can be debated by the community, right? Michigan has the big house. Michigan has the biggest stadium in college. I not even college. They have the biggest football stadium in America. That includes even pros. I want to say more than 110,000 people fit in that stadium. In fact, I want to say it's like 116 or maybe 120,000, something to that effect. I know I'm probably underrating it, but they call it the big house for a reason. People in Michigan are blue collar workers, right? Our auto industry wouldn't be here without them. So they're just as deserving, and they have a very large, alumni. And when it comes to sports, not just college football, but hockey, baseball, basketball, right? They're very well nationwide as well. Their fans are coast to coast as well, just like Texas and just like Ohio State. Ohio State has one of the biggest fan base backer groups out of all of them, to be honest. Every state or almost every large city, you can find a pub that's dedicated to watching Buckeye games. I'll say here in Florida, I went in Miami. There's a bar that I went to that all the Ohio State Buckeye fans go to watch the game. Same thing in Orlando. There's one in Orlando that they took over the whole. I want to say it was a Buffalo Wild. What is it? BW3s or Buffalo Wild Wings, right? They had the whole place was taken over by Buckeye fans, and it wasn't like there was an Ohio State game in Orlando at the time. There wasn't. It's just that they have a big enough fan base in that area that they meet in central locations. Even here in Port St. Lucie, we have a Buckeye bar, right? So I'm just using them as an example, but it's really interesting. I don't really think America has one team that is America's team. But if I had to pick somebody, Notre Dame is probably there. Alabama is probably there. They're one of the most watched franchises in all of college sports. Ohio State is there in my top 5. So is Texas. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Do you guys agree, disagree? What do you guys think?
I can agree with Texas actually too, just because again, that's a team that for a majority of my life, I mean, that's all living in the Midwest. That's a team that I've heard about just all the time. Texas this, Texas that. It wouldn't surprise me. I'd put, unfortunately, it is unfortunately right for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would put Ohio State on there too. Just again, if we're talking about reputation and teams that I know are known, like very well known. I mean, I think Ohio State's easily in there too. I mean, you talk about people from all over. People like I see soccer players have Ohio State jerseys. You see NHL players. Like it's not just a football, basketball thing. Like there's all sorts of athletes all around the world that know some of these, college teams, and Ohio State's right there with it.
Absolutely.
I can make another argument too, and this one it just popped in my head, and it's going to make somebody laugh. You could argue because you said blue collar with Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our auto industry. What's more representative of the average American than Iowa?
Very interesting.
I mean, you want to talk about blue collar workers? Most of those guys were found working out in the fields and turning fucking corn. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, man, you're absolutely right. I definitely agree. When it comes to Iowa, definitely has a stake when it comes to being about blue collar hard work. Ohio State does. I mean, the whole Midwest does, to be honest, because I think that's what really runs this country. To be honest, is the Midwest. When it comes to a lot of different aspects of our economy and whatnot. when you look at Texas though, I always thought of when you're talking about Texas this and Texas that. I think it's because of the great run that Mac Brown, former head coach Mac Brown, had 16 seasons as a head coach in Texas, right? The only other coach that had more seasons at Texas was Darrell Royal, who had 20 seasons, right? And even Darrell Royal in those 20 seasons that he had, I want to say no, actually it was about equal. I want to say Mac Brown and Darrell Royal both had over a 76% winning percentage. I think that's really impressive when it comes to how many coaches the Longhorns have had. I didn't know this. In the history of the Longhorns, they've had 31 different coaches. I didn't know that. Very, very interesting.
That's pretty wild.
It's a lot. You know, you talk about the famous players that came out of Texas as well. There's that also. So there's so much. I don't know. Texas is just one of them. You know, I know people are on different sides of this. The South Florida fans are going to be like, Hurricanes, America's team. I don't know if they're America's team. They're definitely Florida's team for sure. I'll give you that. But teams like Notre Dame, Ohio State, Alabama, Texas, yeah, for me, that's America's team. It's whoever represents the majority of blue collar America because they're the most hardworking people, right? I know, like some people are probably saying, "Well, what about Harvard or some of these like old school, back from the American Revolution time frame schools?" I get you. I get you that you think they're most patriotic, but do they represent the majority of America? No. That's why I like teams like Texas, Iowa, Ohio State, Michigan, right? Alabama. That's what represents America. That's what represents the majority of us. So that's kind of why I picked them as being that's why I represent them being America's team for the most part. All right, everybody hit the like buttons, subscribe if you're brand new. We're going to go ahead and get into the bottom line. By this point, everyone probably should realize that Mystic was not on Tuesday night's show. Mystic, tell everybody where you're at. What do you got planned for this week?
Oh, dang. Hang on. So, man, you asked us at a bad time. There's people around me.
Oh, they're not supposed to know?
No. Yeah, I think stuff outside. All right. So I took my kids to Wisconsin Dells and gave them a wonderful, good old time. Nice surprise vacation. Took them to Florida last year. We'll probably go get next year there, but I'm gonna kind of make it a long or short than a 24-hour car ride like we did last time. Yeah, no, I was good on that. So a 5-hour car ride was more up my alley. So yeah, super happy to be able to do those things. But appreciate the fellas holding it down when I'm away. So shout out to you guys.
Shout out to you, man. Hey, listen, summer family trips are amazing. Every time I go on a summer road trip with my family, I feel like the Griswolds, right? Which is America's family when it comes to vacation sense. If you know, you know. If you know who the Griswolds are, that is America to its finest. I so pulled that out of nowhere, and you happen to wear that shirt is awesome. 100% awesome. Listen, if you know anything when it comes to family vacations, the Griswolds know what's up. Summer vacation, European vacation, Vegas vacation, and Christmas vacation. That is the essence of my upbringing, to be honest, because every family trip, this is how it ends up. You have all the great stuff and the great time with family, but it went horribly wrong elsewhere, right? When you think about it.
The greatest and the worst television movie screen joke in the history of all movies. The Vegas vacation. Will everybody please stay on the damn tour? The damn tour is this way.
That is hilarious. Listen, for me, it's this. Like when I went on my last year, yeah, it was last season. Last summer, I took my family on a long road trip. We went up 95 all the way up to New Jersey, and we went to the boardwalk. We stopped in Washington, D.C., went sightseeing to all the monuments, all the historical museums and everything. And then we went to Philadelphia, had some really good cheesesteak there. Cheesesteak sandwich is amazing. And then we went to New Jersey, and we spent the rest of the week on the boardwalk, which was awesome. Beautiful beach, a lot of sightseeing and fun stuff, and it was awesome, bro. And during that time, a 16-hour car drive, listening to great music and stopping here and there. We stopped at some place called South of the Border. Have you guys ever heard of it? No, I'll take that as a no. If you're driving 95 right on the border of South Carolina and North Carolina, there's a place called South of the Border, and it's all lit up with neon lights. It kind of looks like like almost like you're going to like Vegas or something with all the lights. It's like very bright, and the whole purpose, it's like this cheesy, gimmicky like rest stop area where you can pump gas, maybe get a gas station or whatever. That's all it is. But people think it's kind of like a thing because driving at nighttime, how lit up it is, you'll like be driving in darkness. All of a sudden, it's like pure bright where you got to put on your sunglasses or something. But yeah, so we stopped there just for the fun of it. It was cool. We got to see some cool places, had some amazing food. That's what trips are about, man. It's about family and what you make of it. But I can tell you some of the funniest stories growing up as a kid going on some of these trips. So, Steve, what do you got planned for the holiday, or even
Life
for?
is what you make it? Is that what you're trying to say? Life is what you make it?
What'd you say? What'd you say, Mystic?
Life is what you make it, right?
Yeah, life is what you make it. 100%. What do you got going on, Steve? What do you got planned for this week, or even for summer or 4th of July?
I mean, I don't have much planned. All our money in savings is going to next year. Christmas, we're going out to Cali for my dad and stepmom's 20-year anniversary. We're going to be out in California for a week.
Nice, nice. Whereabouts, California, if you don't mind me asking?
We're gonna go to Disney because that's like their favorite place, and then we're going to Arizona where my dad lives, and then we're heading out to Cali, and we're doing a bunch of stops along the way to and from. So should be
I
a good
got you. Well, if you're going to Disneyland, that's awesome. If you get a chance to go to Hollywood, Hollywood's really cool. Really cool. That whole area. You got the Chinese theater, the Trousseau's Wax Museum, which is really good. The Hollywood Museum is really good too. But if you're looking for like a cheap burger joint, there's a place called Window Burger in Hollywood. I recommend them. They have the best burger and for the price, because I think like a cheeseburger to them is like $4.50. But their lemonade also is banging, bro. It was really good. I really enjoyed my meal at Window Burger. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's definitely worth it. So
No, I've heard of them before. I've seen the videos and stuff of people going there.
yeah,
They do sandwiches and stuff too.
yeah, they do other stuff too, but I recommend their burger. It's really good. My other thing is I went to In-N-Out Burger because everyone says, oh, when you go to LA, go to In-N-Out Burger, right? I went there and it was just a burger joint. I didn't see the whole like, oh my God, it's amazing. I didn't get it. I don't know.
Controversial take: In-N-Out, what a burger! It's just a Burger King with a different slap-on figure.
Damn,
Yeah,
that
I
is
know about
controversial.
that. I got Burger King out here, and I've only had the other one like once or twice, so maybe that makes a difference. But Burger King is trash now, my friend.
Yes, Burger King has gone downhill like really, really bad. I would say In-N-Out was slightly better, slightly. But have you guys ever had Wahlburger before?
No.
Wahlburger?
There's a special Heisey Wahlburger here in Waukee, Mark Wahlberg, and then we're actually here.
Yeah, I understand. We have one in Orlando. I didn't like it at all. No.
Honestly, it's overpriced.
It is overpriced. It didn't taste great as well. They had some Wahlburger sauce they put on the burger. I was like, it was trash. Yeah. I would rather spend my money at Culver's than going there, to be honest.
Listen, if Burger King wants to sponsor me, I will rep your burgers for life.
Yeah, he'll also make sure that you guys come out with a new Impossible Burger now, including raisins.
I mean, listen, whatever gets me paid, I will do whatever.
Oh my God! Please take that comment back. Whatever gets him paid, he'll do whatever.
I'm a sellout. I don't give a shit.
Damn. Well, Steve is applying for America's sellout. Listen, what do I got planned for this holidays? I'm going to my sister's house. That's like a tradition for 4th of July. My sister has a big house that was actually built in like 1908, and she had it remodeled and redone and everything. So it actually got, I think it made one of the parade of home lists in her area where she lives. And she has this beautiful pool that is over 12 feet deep, and it's I don't want to say that it's Olympic sized pool, but it's that big. It's really big. And then she has a big yard and everything. So we usually go there, we barbecue. I drink a lot of tequila, and then we shoot off tons and tons of fireworks. My niece and my kids are like, yeah, Uncle Ali's coming with the fireworks. And I was like, yeah, I usually spend like a couple $100 worth of fireworks that we shoot off until the night. It's a really good time, but it's with family. I usually get sunburned. I'll probably end up coming in here in their next show afterwards looking like a raccoon with my sunglass tan lines that you can see. So yeah, that's what I got going on. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody hit the like button, put it in the chat or in the comments section. Put what you guys have planned for the holiday. I want to know. And I also want to know who do you guys think is America's team when it comes to college football? Not pros, college football. You were going to say something, Steve. I cut you off. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say I didn't even fully answer your question. We're probably going to smoke. I just got a new smoker, so I'm probably going to smoke some ribs, like I was talking about earlier, for next weekend. So
let me ask you a question about ribs, because you're talking about smoking ribs. Some people throw the ribs in the oven before they put them on the grill. What do you think?
I mean, if you're going for just straight grilled ribs, it is a viable option. I prefer smoking it low and slow, basting it with either orange juice, apple juice, or even Dr. Pepper, which is actually very good on grill. And then I wrap them up with a bunch of butter and apple juice and aluminum foil, and then put them on the grill. So either option is available. If you can't smoke them, there's nothing wrong with oven baking them and then getting the char of the smoke with the barbecue sauce on the grill.
Yeah, see what I do, that's how I do it. I actually take my ribs, and after you peel off that layer that you're supposed to peel off, I forget what they call that.
Silver skin.
Yeah, silver skin. I rip all that stuff off, right? And then, which is a pain sometimes. If you get a good slab of ribs, like it's pretty easy, but sometimes you get these kind that you can't find where it starts, and you got to figure out like if you got it all off or whatnot. But what I do is I make my own rub that consists of like salt, pepper, paprika, cayenne, and some other other spices. You can even use saffron or turmeric. That's really good as well, depending on what type of taste you're going for. And I dry rub that rib like crazy, right? Or ribs, because I usually cook like 3 or 4 of them in this big aluminum baking pan that I use. And then when I put them down in there, I smother them with my own what do they call that? Barbecue sauce of some kind. and I'll throw them in the oven. And after I'm done with them in the oven, I'll check them. Maybe I'll smother them some more, throw them in the oven a little bit longer. And then when I pull them out, I'll put them on the grill just for the searing effect, really.
Yep. The smoke,
Um,
the char.
yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I do. And some people have said I'm doing it wrong and the oven should never be used. I'm just curious, what is the right way to make ribs?
Depends on who you talk to. Again, I know people who boil their ribs and
Mhm.
then to finish them, they'll get them like 3/4 of the way in water and then take them out to the grill because it makes it more tender to them. It just depends on who you ask, right?
Yeah.
I am a traditionalist. I will smoke my ribs for 10 hours and then I hit them on a grill. I used to do just salt, pepper, garlic, paprika, the whole, kit and caboodle, but I found the Kinder's brand makes a chipotle cherry rub, and it's literally dried cherries and chipotle, which is just uh dried habanero peppers, but uh and I just rub it all the way down. And like I said, I'll smoke it, spritzing it with. Generally, I use applesauce or orange juice, just depending. Even pineapple juice works, whatever you have on hand. Um, and then, like I said, I'll smother it down like Sweet Baby Ray's or something, and wrap it up in aluminum to finish it off.
Baby Ray's, you know where it's at. You know where it's at, Steve. I love me some Baby Ray's, to be honest. Um, I like your idea with the Tinder's rub. I've tried some of their rubs before. The reason I make my own though is sometimes I'm trying to go for a different taste. I don't always make them the same exact way, right? Maybe I want them to be a little bit more sweet, or maybe I want them to be a little bit more spicier than others. So I make my own rub just because I can control the amounts and add more stuff to it without overbearing other like flavors that the other spices are bringing out. You know what I'm saying? So, but I definitely agree. Tinder's does make some good rubs, and then one that you mentioned does sound very flavorful, to be honest. Mystic, last second, anything else for our audience before we let everyone go? Mystic. He must be overwhelmed by family and community. That's what it's all about. Steve, any final thoughts before we let everyone go?
Yeah. I know this wasn't the normal show that you guys may have been expecting. Just remember, ultimately, college sports is about family at the end of the day. It's about the experience. It's about the holidays. It's about an American tradition from whatever form that takes, right? You
Mm-hmm.
know, the 4th of July, college sports, NFL sports. It's all about being together and remembering what's important, and that's the people inside and around your home. So I hope you all have a happy and safe 4th of July, and we'll catch you next Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday. And starting next Tuesday, we're starting to, well, we might start break down rivalries in the same week. Like for example, maybe the Irish and the Trojans, or Ohio State and Michigan. You know, we're gonna start breaking down rivalry teams in the same week. So we'll start talking about that going forward. Everybody hit the like button, subscribe if you're brand new. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to at Fourth and 10, you make sure you subscribe, because once a week we put out an episode that's exclusively here on at Fourth and 10, whereas you will not find it on the TFTG channel. So definitely make sure that you subscribe. We're 11 subscribers away from 100, and then we can start giving out giveaways. Everybody hit the like button. Have a happy, safe 4th of July. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night.